In today's podcast episode, we're going to talk about burnout, why you get burnt out, and what you should do if you're feeling that way. This is the Detailing Business Class Podcast. And welcome back to a new podcast episode. I will be very straightforward with you guys that I actually it's 4:50 right now. I actually got here to the shop at 5:45 a.m. and I am not feeling that well as far as like mentally. I feel very like just my mind is very foggy right now. So I and by all means do not have the energy to make this podcast. But as I just posted on my Instagram story, is that a big part of being a content creator is that you have to get content out. So a lot of times when I'm shooting content, whether it's for Instagram Reels or a YouTube video or this podcast, is once the camera comes on, because we're if you're listening to this on audio, that's one thing, but we also have it on video, and then we also make clips into it on Instagram. As soon as the camera turns on across whatever content I'm shooting, you kind of you put that attitude on. If you're watching it on YouTube, like I'm smirking and kind of hyping up myself because you want to make sure you're kind of showing that attitude or that kind of that personality or that energy on camera. So right now mentally I am not there, but when the camera turns on, I'm kind of smiling. I'm kind of get my energy up because I need to really show that through the camera. So as soon as the podcast is over and the camera turns off, I'm gonna go straight back to like being down because I'm not there right now. But the the job got to get done. You guys need the podcast. I know how much you guys love this podcast. As do I. I do like and I do enjoy doing it. But right now, not the best feeling right now. But that is a perfect segue into what we're going to talk about today, and that is burnouts. I get a few messages per week of like, hey, how do you manage burnout? I'm feeling stressed or I'm feeling overworked right now in my business, and maybe like their personal life isn't going so well, or something in their personal life happened of a family member, whatever. But it's like multiple things are kind of stacking upon each other that are leading them to being distressed or just not in the perfect headspace, and that leads to a lot of problems. And I mean, I could literally do like a 5-hour episode on like personal life and stressing and burnout and such. So I'll see how long this one gets. But we're gonna talk about how do you manage burnout, and one way to manage burnout is by our sponsor, Jobber. So real quick is that Jobber, we've been using this software in our business for the last 3+ years. So Jobber for us basically is the backbone of our business. We schedule customers, we keep track of customers' information, like their vehicle information. Basically, like it shows us all their appointments. We can automate the reminders that we send them. Like for us specifically, if we schedule the customer on Friday, we have Jobber sent out an automated email 3 days before the appointment, and then an automated text message 2 days before the appointment. And then the customer is able to confirm their appointment through those messages and emails. And if they don't confirm via the automated messages, then we'll manually reach out to them 1 day before the detail. So that's one way that we use Jobber in our business, but we use it to keep track of employee hours. We send out quotes through there. So if you want to give it a try, you can get a free 14-day trial plus 20% off your first 6 months using the link down below. It's getjobber.com/Oscar Gill. Again, we've been using Jobber far before I became an ambassador. We've been paying and using their software for 3+ years, and I recently joined their ambassador program like 4 months ago. So if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know what will. So, anyways, let's get into this podcast episode of burnout. So, and the reason why I'm doing this one specifically because I just recently had a conversation with another detailer that he was talking about. Hey, like I'm just not really motivated anymore to schedule jobs. Plus, like how hot it is right now in Texas, like I'm not really feeling it. So I kind of got to asking some questions of like just getting a better understanding. Like so what are you doing? Is this your full-time job? Do just trying to gather more information about what this person is going through. And one thing I want to get like straight off the back is that there is no set criteria or details or level of like experience or like any milestone you have to reach in order to like get burnt out. because every single person is going to be different, right? One person that, just started their business and their main goal is to make $3,000 a month is going to be completely different than someone that is on their way to make $30,000 per month, right? The level of problems and obstacles and stress and anxiety and just everything about the business will be completely different from one to the other. On top of that, just you as a human being, right? You as a person that has emotions and feelings and, personal problems and such, like you can only handle so much. And don't compare yourself to anyone at any time about anything of anything, right? Like whatever you're going through is your life. It's your problem. It's your world. And if you see someone else and you're like, well, why doesn't that person say that? Or am I the only one that's going through that? It's like, no, like don't ever compare yourself to anyone, especially when it comes to like, oh, how's my life going? How's my business going? How's my, I feel so burnt out and I'm kind of lost in what I'm doing. And, like, why doesn't anyone else feel like that? It's like, you don't know what anyone else is going through. You don't know their internal struggles, their internal pain. You don't know how their business is performing. You don't know if they're happy. You don't know if they're enjoying life. So, it's things always seem better from afar, right? If you're making, 2,000 a month and you're like, man, that guy over there's making 8,000 a month. And it's like, you don't know what they're where their mind is on a daily basis or the thoughts that go through the head. So first and foremost of whatever you're going through, that's a you thing, right? You might think like, oh, it's not a big deal because like that other person is going through all that. It's like, although yes, that other person might be going through, also difficult things for them. That's for them though, right? It's contextually for them. So for you, if you get burnt out or you're feeling stressed or anxiety over, X amount of things, it's like, yes, that's fine because that's what you can tolerate. That's what your personality, you as a person can handle. And that's absolutely fine. Don't try to compare yourself and say, well, why am I getting so stressed out when the next person isn't? It's like, you don't know if they are, you don't know if they've gone through, you don't know their experience, their threshold, or like, you don't know what it is that they're doing or who they are. So, I'm here to tell you that it's okay if you get stressed out. It's okay to feel, like there's too much going on. It's okay to do that because there's no one in the world that's setting the standard of like, this is what you're supposed to meet. And if you don't meet that, then you can't get stressed. Like, no, that's an absolute lie. So let me look here at my notes here. So and the other thing I generally dislike is like when anyone like sometimes and not any detailers. This is kind of like what I've seen like floating around on Instagram and such, where like someone will talk about like someone will say like, hey, I'm stressed, and then it's Mr. Macho alpha male over here that's like, no, you're not stressed. Stop being a bitch. Just go out there and keep on working. With those people too, it's like, all right, bro, calm down. Like even you like when I hear those like gurus or whatever talk about that. Not even guru, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're on Instagram or YouTube, you've seen those videos too. And it's like, dude, shut up. Like everyone goes through some level of stress. Like don't try to be that guy that's like, no, I'm not stressed. No, I'm not burnt out. It's like, bruh, all right, give yourself 2 more months and you're just gonna knock out for like a week in bed and say you're not like everyone goes through burnout. Everyone goes through stress. Now again, the level that you go through, it's gonna be completely different person to person, right? Like if I can go back in time and grab Oscar from 4 years ago and just plot him down to present day right now, would previous Oscar be able to do everything and handle everything just as well, quote unquote, that I'm doing right now? Probably not. Why? Well, there's an experience difference, right? I've gone through those obstacles, through those problems, through those stress levels, through that kind of that tolerance to build up to like what I can handle now, right? And if I were to take Oscar from 4 years ago or 8 years ago and just plot him into here right now, could he handle that? No, because I don't got the experience level, right? Just think about literally any player ever, and it's like, granted, there's some star players that could, but like take any basketball player, take and it's like if they came out of the first draft and you put them in with whatever team, it's like, would he perform as an all-star, or would it be better if you kind of develop him over the years and you don't start him, you just work him, he starts here and there, and then over 4 seasons, 4 years, he actually becomes that superstar player that he was supposed to be. So again, everyone, even with that analogy in itself, is that everyone's going to be different, right? LeBron James, straight out of high school to the NBA, phenomenal, right? Then you have others that are went to a top tier college, school, were first round picks, and it turned out to just be total flops, right? Because it's an individual thing. Like what that person does is what that person does, and it's not what the other person is doing. You don't compare them because they're just completely different humans. So, and first let's cover what burnout is. Even though I'm already like 8 minutes into the episode, what is burnout? So, I did a quick Google search. By the way, I have a PhD in Google search. If anyone was curious. So burnout per Google, well, per the listing that I saw, is burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. Again, that's going to look different for every single person here, right? So in the regards to your detailing business, right, burnout can be you've tried a bunch of different things to grow your business, to get customers, to make money. And month after month, it's like, oh, brick wall, I'm not getting any results. Oh, brick wall, I'm not getting any results. Oh, brick wall, I'm not getting any results. And just like time after time, you're tired of your day job. You want to leave. You're so passionate about detailing it, and you want to make this detailing business thing work out. And things aren't just clicking for you. And it's like month after month, month after month, just things aren't working out for you. That could be a level of burnout and stress. Another one is you're tired of working. You're, maybe you have your business and things are actually going well. You're having customers, but when now you're tired, you're working 5, 6, maybe 7 days out of the week. You're working, 7, 10, 12 hours at a time. And you're just simply tired. You're physically tired from being out there for 10, 12 hours at a time. You're mentally tired from dealing with customers and the problems and, your website and marketing. And you're just tired of, being so busy. Although it's a great problem to have, you're tired of like, oh, just when do I catch a break? I schedule all these customers. I'm making this money, but when do I don't do anything else other than that. And that goes to my next point of it. You're tired of just spending 90% of your time on your business and dealing with customers and working on vehicles. But when do you have time to yourself? When do you have time to go out to the movies or just go to the gym or spend time with your friends and family? And that could be a level of stress and problems. Last example here that I have is the weather is draining you because it's too hot or too cold. Like here in Texas, Arizona, where it's like 101, 105, 110, 113. It's like, that's not fun being out there. And like a thing I always say is like when customers are like, man, how do you guys stay warm? Or like, oh, good thing you're in the shade. And like, we get to talking and stuff about the heat and how you manage it. It's like, I always tell them something like this of like no matter what you do, you're always going to be hot when it's 110 degrees outside, right? Like, even if you were to go out to and go swimming, go to the beach. If you go and like you're just like whatever. It's like you can only do so much to be comfortable in 110-degree weather. On top of that, the disgusting humidity that you'll face here in Houston or in Texas, brutal. But anyways, that in itself, too cold or too hot, in itself could be draining on you. So there's multiple things that could lead to you being burnt out. And trust me, I faced it. Again, this is why it goes back to like your own personal problems, right? Of like not you having personal problems, but like what you're able to, kind of your as I say here, it's like your burnout threshold, right? Everyone's burnout threshold is going to be different. So, like I would say that if you were to put most detailers in my exact shoes right now, most people would be like, dang, this is too much going on. Because that's just the reality, right? Whereas, so like every person is going to be different in terms of what they can handle. But like I 100% have had those times where you're like, dang, I'm just kind of tired of this. Like I really don't know what's happening anymore. Like I really don't know what's going on. Like I'm just kind of going through the motions. Like there's no real sense of direction of what I'm doing here in the business. And when I am doing these things, it's always done with just like a lackluster, like, oh, okay, like whatever, yeah, dude, I don't really want to do this, but yeah, sure. And you don't want to go to work, and you don't want to really, you don't really want to schedule a customer in, or you don't want to go deal with the customer because you're just tired. And everyone, I'm pretty sure I want to say everyone has gone through that, because it's just something that you'll learn, as you go along, right? So where am I here with my notes? So your burnout threshold is to you, right? It's your own personal threshold of what you can handle before you get burnt out. So it's going to be highly dependent on your goals, who you are as a person, and what you're working towards in life. So like the same example is like someone that wants to make $3,000 per month in their detailing business will be completely different than someone wanting to make $30,000 per month, right? The just the kind of the problems that you'll face, the amount of the amount of time and energy and resource that you need to achieve that, like it's gonna be completely different. So, and like I said, they're like, I really want to stress this. Like, there is no right or wrong answer to this, right? There is no like, well, okay, well, I just started and, I guess I shouldn't be burnt out because I only have one customer so far. It's like, no, like what you feel, what your emotions are, what your stress level is, or what your threshold, your, what I say here? What's it called? Your burnout threshold is like, that is you. Like, whatever that is to you, if you're already redlining, 6 months into your business, that's fine. Like, accept that, like, you manage that. And over time, you figure out what you have to kind of push or pull to alleviate that. And you keep on moving forward. But don't just say like, no, I can't be stressed out. It's like, check the ego at the door, like you don't have to be Mr. or Mrs. Superman in order to do this business thing, right? It's okay to get stressed. It's okay to be burnt out. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to accept these feelings of like, dang, this is kind of crazy. Like, what am I doing here, right? Like, there's going to be times where you feel lost, where you feel like, you wake up, you're driving to the customer's location, or you're at the customer's spot, or, you're doing whatever, and you're like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what's happening right now? Like, what is going on? What am I doing? I'm completely lost to like what's supposed to be happening in life right now. It's gonna happen. It's okay. Things happen. Don't just be like, oh no, no, just keep on working. Like, it's okay. I'm telling you, it's okay to feel that way. So, keep on moving down here and then so how do you get out of burnout? Now, there's no one size fits all because obviously everyone would do that. That's why I say like it's gonna come with time and experience, right? Like the way you get out your burnout is gonna be based on like how you feel at the time. As far as like how you feel at the time, what's happening in your business and in your life, right? Because obviously your business and personal life are like commingled, right? Like they are intertwined as tightly as possible. And then so those two main things, like what's going on in your business and life, and then how are you feeling at the time. Like those two things will dictate like, okay, this is how I'm gonna manage it. Because obviously like you being stressed out by not having customers and not making money is different from when you have 6 employees and, let's say your shop expenses are like $15,000 a month plus your payroll, and your business revenue is going like, I'm saying, like there's levels to like there's levels to like the kind of the extent of what that stress might be. But again, like that's the things that you have to kind of keep in mind of like, there's going to be different things based on where you are with your business. So here's what I personally do. Now, this isn't like in order, nor is this like the end all be all. These are just like 3 things that I kind of run through my head of like, okay, what's happening, right? And again, I am no, mindset guru. I am not here to tell you, I'm not here to say the law of attraction. I'm not here to tell you to, I'm just not that guy, But here's just 3 simple things that I kind of look at, and not like in depth, but it's like 3 kind of like a checklist that I look at to kind of just get a pulse of like, okay, what am I doing right now? So number 1 is when you're feeling burnt out, or when number 1 for when I'm feeling burnt out, is remember your why, right? Remember your why is basically asking, why are you doing what you're doing? What's the purpose of it? Why are you doing this? Why are you getting up every day to work on this business, right? Maybe you're working your full-time job and, you're working, you're getting up at 5 a.m. to work from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. on your business, and then you go to work from 9 to 6, and then from 10 to 12 you're working back on your business again. Like why are you spending that extra time to work on your business? Most of the time it comes down to, as a whole, like across the board for everyone, your why is typically like a deep rooted reason, right? Like you want to provide for your family, you want a better lifestyle than what you had, you want to have more time for your friends and family, you want to be more financially stable, you want to be self-employed so you can travel the world. Like those are like the deep-rooted causes, like why you're doing what you're doing, right? It's not so much to be like, oh, because I like cars. Like that's like like, oh, because I'm passionate about detailing. That's not a why. Like that's not why you're getting up every day and trying to build this business and going through all these problems. Like, because I'm passionate about detailing, that's not why. Not why at all. So it's that deeper meaning of like, why are you doing what you're doing? So first thing first, I just kind of remember like, why am I doing this, right? And I'm not gonna share that with you guys because obviously it's personal, as it's gonna be for yourself. But just think about like, hey, why am I doing this, right? And be very crystal clear on your why. Meaning like I would say like know your why is like the North Star of everything, right? And when I say North Star, I mean like at any time when you feel anything, whether it's down, bad, good, like whatever you're going through, like you look at your why, your North Star, and you're like, that's right, that's why I'm doing it. That's the direction. That's why I'm doing this. And it's not so much of a plan or like here's the strategy, but it's like it's just more of like the fire that burns inside you on why you want to keep on going. So number one definitely is remember your why. Why are you doing this? Why did you start this in the first place? Or is it because I'm passionate about detailing cars? Like, it's probably not that. It's probably because you want to be your own boss and you don't want a 9 to 5 job and you want to be more in control of your lifestyle. You want to make more money. You want to make money on your own terms. That's more of your why. Number two is come up with a new plan. So obviously, with the way things are going right now, you're feeling burnt out or whatever reason that is, things aren't going in your favor. So come up with a new plan. And this one is like, I don't get to like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, project and plan out the next 18 months. No, take an hour or so, an hour, 2 hours, and just sit down by yourself, in your room, office, outside, backyard, wherever, and just think like, what's going on right now? What am I feeling, and why am I feeling like this? Right? Why do I feel this overwhelm of stress, of problems, of anxiety, and just try to kind of pinpoint where is that coming from? Why am I always so tired? Why can I not leave the shop at 6 p.m.? Why can I not, why do I feel so, I don't know, anxiety when a customer, like figure like what's happening in your business and just kind of pinpoint, okay, what's a little adjustment that I can do to fix that, right? And again, like this is gonna look different for literally everybody, right? Every single person will have a different process and like methodology of how this, of how you unfold this. So it's just looking at like kind of just sit like, and you really have to sit down for like an hour and just think to yourself, or an hour and more, and just think to yourself like, what is going on in my business? What's going on with my life? Like, why am I feeling this way? And it's like, what are just some small micro adjustments that you can do moving forward to make that better? Because for me, I know for one, like when I come up with a plan, it kind of just lets me see things in with more clarity, And it's not like this is not like a set in stone plan of like, all right, bet, like here's the plan, full speed ahead for the next 25 months. No, it's just like, okay, for the next, month, I'm gonna do this now, right? Because like a lot of times, like we keep too many thoughts in our head as far as like, oh, this is happening, and oh, and this has to happen. Oh, and what about this? Oh, and this customer. Oh, and I gotta order this. Oh, and this happened over here. Oh, and this customer wants me to get back to them. Oh, and like if you just jot everything down in your noggin, down onto paper, and you're able to look at it and say, okay, what's actually happening right now? And then you can kind of prioritize, move things around, shift things around, and be like, okay, of all things that are doing right now, I really need to go and get like this taken care of. Okay, that's number one on the list. And then from there, it's like, okay, well, after that, then I can go and do this. And it's like, okay, now that you see what you have to do, and you see the things that are happening. It's like, okay, what's important to work on? What's not important to work on? What's really going to help kind of, clear my plate with things that I have to do. So number two is come up with a new plan. Take an hour, and a bigger portion of this is simply like giving yourself the time to think, right? Like most of the time, you're not gonna be like writing a bunch of things. Like, oh, here's a big old like 60-page document of like what's happening. No, it's like most of the time, like it's mostly just spent actually thinking, processing what's in your head, jotting down notes, and seeing, okay, what's going on right now? Like, what's happening? What am I doing? So most of the time is spent thinking, and a portion of that is jotting down notes. But it's not like you're just writing a journal. Again, it's gonna be dependent on what you're doing though. If you just want to journal everything down, if you want to jot everything down, if you want to write everything down, that's completely fine. That's up to you. Like if that's what works for you, that's what works for you, and you go and do that. There is no right or wrong answer. It's simply what's gonna work for you. So although I don't do that, if that's the way that it works for you, that's what works for you. Number three is simply just take a break. So, whether that's a full day, a full week, whether that's simply decreasing the workload throughout the week, just take a break, right? So again, it's dependent on you. So do you need a full day? Do you need 2 full days? Do you need a full week? Do you just need a weekend? Do you need to go somewhere? Do you need to stay home? Do you need to go and get a hotel room just to stay on your own for something? Do you want to like what does that look like for you, right? What kind of break do you need, right? Maybe for the next week you should like maybe stop detailing or stop working at 1 p.m. every day for the next week and take the rest of the day off. Maybe you should get 4 days off, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and get back on Monday. It's gonna look different for every single person, but take some time off. Take time to just reset, to rejuvenate the mind and the body. Like just take time to just chill out, calm down, and just okay. Let me just kind of ease my mind, right? And a big thing to this is simply sleeping. Like it is crazy what sleeping will do to you as far as like a positive impact on your body. Like if you just go and get 2 nights of quality sleep, like that can reset you, right? If you're working on like 5-6 hours of sleep every night and you're doing that consistently, your body isn't recovering, right? So the best way to recover, like bar none, the best way to recover is simply getting good quality sleep, right? Like no interruptions, like you don't have like your TV, like just get good quality sleep will make a world's difference. I kid you, like there's been plenty of times where I'm just like drained, like dead. I don't got it in me. And then I just like take like a not a full day, but like I sleep longer than I usually do, and I just let myself sleep, and I wake up like feeling fully refreshed. It doesn't happen every time, but sleep like is a big component to how you feel. Like if you just sleep, like just get some sleep, like turn off the TikTok and the Instagram, like just get some damn sleep. You will feel a lot better. Like it will rejuvenate, it will recover. Like that is the best form of recovery is just sleep. Just go back to sleep. Get off TikTok. Go to sleep. So definitely do that. And yeah, so those are the 3 things that I do. Remember your why, come up with a new plan, and then take a break. Now I could keep on going. I could really go to, even a part 2, but I'll just go to my next point here, which is, and again, like if you guys really like this topic specifically, I can make another one. If you just shoot me a DM or leave a comment somewhere saying like, "Oh, that was a great episode." Like those are the things that kind of edge me towards like making more content of whatever topic that it is. So you'll get better at managing your burnout rate as you get more experience, right? Like again, like if I took Oscar from 4 years ago and plopped him to here right now, like today, like right now, could he handle it? I'm gonna say no, right? I would like my ego would like to be like, oh, of course he could. What are you talking about, Oscar? He could handle any situation, but the reality is like probably not. Oscar from 4 years ago could probably not handle this because he doesn't have the experience, the wisdom, right? The tribulation that one has to go through to acquire that new set of skills. He doesn't have that, so I don't think he would. I'd like to say it would, but I don't think he would. So like I am a completely different person from then to where I am now, right? So it's just one of those like repetition, like, you get better once you get exposed to it more, right? If you go to the gym, you start off with 10-pound weights, you do those, and then over a few weeks, months, you go up to 15. After a few weeks or months, you go up to 20. After a few weeks or months, you go up to 25. After a few weeks and months, you go to 25. After a few weeks and months, you go 30. Like that is that's progressive overload, and that kind of applies to everything, right? Like you go and face this one problem in your business, and then you kind of like, oh, that was okay, I handled that, and then you face another problem, you get more XP points. So it's really like time and experience will definitely help you out in how you develop yourself and manage these levels of stress and burnout. And one thing to clarify is I don't mean you need to be killing yourself every day with like work related, right? Meaning like I don't mean like you have to go and like, yeah, every day, like go and work because that's how you're gonna get better, or that's how you're gonna build up your tolerance. Like that's not what I mean. Just over time, as you work on your business, as you accumulate growth, and you face different problems, those things kind of start to stack on each other, right? So don't think I'm saying like, oh, bro, get out there and hustle every day, like 24/7 grinding, don't sleep. Like no, that's not what I'm talking about, because I truly do not. I don't like the word hustle. I don't like believe in that. Like, oh, go hustle harder, go. It's like I don't care about that. That's not what I do. Nor do I, kind of follow that mantra of like hustle. So I don't mean like, yeah, just go out there and like, work yourself to death. No, it's like everyone is on their own path. Everyone is on their own journey. Everyone will make the decision that's best for them in their journey, in and who they are as a person, and what they want to handle. And like, look, the reality is like some people, right? Like it or not, this is the absolute reality. Just the same way as like not every first round draft pick in the NBA comes out to be a superstar. It's the same way how the last round of the last pick doesn't necessarily mean you won't become a superstar, aka Tom Brady. It's like every person that wants to start a business doesn't mean that they're going to continue to run their business for the rest of time, right? Like you might want to start a business and then you see, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Oh, that's a lot of work. Oh, there's a lot of problems. Oh, it's a lot of stress. Oh, it's a lot of anxiety. Oh, wait, what? This is that. And it's like, maybe you're just not cut out for it. And not in a bad way of like, yeah, you're not good enough. No, it's like just some people, the reality is you're not, you're better suited at a job. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't, I would hope that every single person that listens to me and starts their business grows a successful business. But the reality is that just like in basketball, just like in baseball, just like in football, although everyone wants to go to a D1 team, right? They want to go to a top tier school that has, that gets, just, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone wants to go to the top schools for the teams, right? For Clemson to, whatever, right? And then from there, everyone wants to make it to the draft, and everyone wants to make it to the first round, and everyone that makes it to the first round wants to be a superstar, and everyone wants that max deal contract as a rookie, and like they all want to go and make these millions and millions of dollars, and everyone wants a shoe deal, and everyone wants to be the superstar of the team, and everyone wants to make it to the All Star, and everyone wants the grand slam of everything, right? But everyone doesn't show up for that, right? Like there's a bunch of first round picks in every single draft and every single year that just completely flop, that are just useless, basically. Like they show up to be nothing. I'm being a bit harsh because that's the NBA, but you get the point. We're like, yes, everyone wants to start a business, everyone wants to be in a business, everyone wants to be their own boss. But the reality is, just on how life works, not everyone is cut up for it, right? And again, there's so many ways to look at it. Maybe you are the type of person that can get to 5,000 and you'll be happy there, right? Like it's gonna be different for every single individual. And I'm not saying that, I'm truly not saying this like to be a downer or to be negative, but it's like if you are stressed out, if you are having panic attacks, or if you are, anxious all the time, if you cannot enjoy life, if you are not happy, if you are always stressing, if you are always in a state of like, what's happening with my life, with my business, maybe at that point, it's like maybe it would make sense to just go get a job for now. Or maybe, this is just not something that's going to work out in your manner. And I would hope that every single individual that watches this or listens to this podcast is like, yes, you grow a successful business, but there are some people out there that it seems like, look, like you're stressed all the time. Like even for now, just take a step back and go get a job for now. It's okay. Like I did that multiple times. Like I think I jumped around like 6 jobs over 2 years while I was trying to grow my detailing business, because I needed that kind of secure financial resource as I grew my detailing business. So again, I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying it in the most realistic, like practical way of like, sometimes it makes sense to either one, get a job as you grow your business to relieve a lot of stress and anxiety, or maybe it just makes sense for you to be a great employee and be like a top level manager or whatever, or executive somewhere at another company. Like that's also nothing wrong with that as well. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up right here. Again, if this kind of vibes with you, let me know via a DM, comment, or whatever, and I will make a part 2 of some sort. And if you like, what would really help, like when it comes for me making topics, is if you send me a DM or a comment or an email, and you give me context of what you're going through. Like, don't just be like, hey, like, I'm stressed. What I do? It's like, well, I mean, then I got to go through the full rounds of like asking you questions. Whereas if you're like, hey, Oscar, here might be a good topic for your podcast. I am a 27-year-old, whatever, software engineer that is whatever, and I started this business and I'm making this much. And you give me the full context of like what you have in your situation. Then I can go into the podcast. Well, I'll still probably ask you a few questions, but then I can take that information and bring that into a podcast form. So that in that regard, it helps me. So DM, email, comment, like give me some more context, and not just like of this, but like of anything in your business. And it that does help me create better content and more content. So I'll wrap it up right here. Again, if you are interested in trying Jobber, that's a software we've been using to run our detailing business. You can check the show notes down below if you're listening to this on audio, or the description box if you're watching this on YouTube. And you can get Jobber. You can try Jobber free for 14 days. You get a 14-day free trial plus 20% off your first 6 months. Again, we use it for scheduling customers, keeping track of all the customers' information, sending out invoices, sending out automated reminders, like a bunch of things we use Jobber for. It's literally the backbone of our operations. You can check the show notes or description box down below for that. And if you hear some basketball in the background, that's because there's people in the background playing basketball, and they're probably missing a bunch. So, anyways, thank you very much for listening. This is by far the longest solo episode that I've done. I think it's going to be like 34 minutes, because I have the other one with Caesar, but even that one's less than 30 minutes actually. Yeah, so this is actually probably one of the longest podcasts that I've done. Huh, cool. All right, thank you very much, and I'll talk to everyone on the next one. Bye-bye.